What's up, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start this show by being transparent. There was no show yesterday. There was no basketball yesterday, so I don't have anything to recap. I didn't get there. I was looking over the tennis all night, and I just didn't like the prices. I guess I could have played, you know, to win in straight sets. Those could have cashed as far as WTA, but didn't end up getting there. So nothing to recap for myself. But it is good to be back with you, Mr. Rob Veno. How are you doing today? Did you get into anything yesterday? Did they trick you into some baseball?
I wasn't tricked into anything yesterday. No, I stood tall. I stood my ground. No basketball, like you say yesterday, WNBA or NBA. So used yesterday to try and look ahead, come up with a couple of things for today, and then down the road, of course, for me, the UFL is into their playoff season this weekend, and the Canadian Football League starts on Friday. So spent a lot of time with those two yesterday.
All right. Well, we have WNBA back today, so we have three games to talk about. I bet every single one of them, Rob Veno.
All right.
Let's see if we can agree on some things. See if we can make some money today.
Mm-hmm.
I've hit five of the last six in W, so I figure when I'm seeing clear, I feel like I'm seeing clear. I need to fire away. So let's talk about it. First up, Mystics and Fever. This one opened -4 for Indiana. Looks like 5.5 for six. And the total, not a whole lot of movement. I mean, it's right at the opener. It's actually 161.5 right now. As far as injuries are concerned, we do know that, let me refresh, but we do know the Fever continue to be without Caitlin Clark. They're also without Sophie Cunningham, but Sydney Colson, who did go out of that last game, looks like she's okay. She's back into the lineup, and Washington has nobody on the injury report here. Um, so I mean, we all know how big of a deal Caitlin Clark is to the Fever team, whether it's playmaking, scoring, shooting, whatever it is, she does it all. Sophie, another great shooter. Um, here, like the Fever, I feel like even if they want to try to play, like they have to try to find a new way to play. They keep losing so many players. It's like we can't just go out there and do the same thing. It just wasn't working. Um, Sydney Colson, much less offensive than Caitlin Clark as far as the backup point guard position there. I can't help but think this Indiana offense still can struggle. I know they'll really want to win because they've lost a few in a row, lost three in a row to be specific, but they kind of got to show me first, Ravino. So that makes me lean towards this Washington side. They are the healthier team and the better defense, in my opinion. So I think those two things can keep them close. How are you viewing this one?
Well, I thought the total was light, 161.5, considering that they just played last week, these two teams, and it was the first game without Caitlin Clark and the first game with Sydney Colson, and who even knew what was going to happen there as far as cohesion was concerned. But the game landed on 160. Indiana, to your point about trying to find a new play, it seems like they're just hard-headed and they're going to play their way because they're still number one in pace in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is probably out one more week, I think. So probably have a couple of games over that time period where they try and figure some things out. As far as Sophie is concerned, she missed like the first three, I think, of the season for some questionable reasons. We don't really know if she was truly hurt or not, but now she's kind of re-aggravated that ankle injury. So for Indiana, I don't happen to think that they're going to change preference of styles. They're home here. They played Connecticut the same way right after the Mystics game, 85-83. They lost straight up. They're probably a lot worse on defense at this point than they were. Sophie's a pretty solid defender, and Caitlin Clark is, believe it or not, she's the team's best defensive rebounder. She averages 6 defensive boards a game, better than anybody on this team. So defense is absolutely absent. They weren't a good defensive team to begin with. It kind of leads you to believe that Washington's going to get their share. They got 83 the first, like I say, 6 days ago. They might be able to get a couple more here. I think Indiana at home with 3 days off to practice, try and figure something new out. Their offense did increase the second game without Clark. Like I say, they went from 77 to 83, and they shot much better. Their shooting against Washington last week was terrible. Their shooting against Connecticut was almost 50%. Getting burned on the fast break, Skee. These last 2 games are outscored 23-4 in fast break points by Washington and Connecticut last 2. Mystics, probably a little bit of a bounce back effort because it's a step down in defensive class. They just got held to 63 by the Liberty. Liberty are much better, much bigger inside. To me, I just, the Mystics in that first game had a potential for even more points, and so did Indiana, and it still got to 160. So to me, can you grind 2 more points out of the game, this matchup, especially now that it's in Indiana? I think you can. So I played it up and over 161.5.
Well, I don't know. I don't agree, Rob Veno. We've agreed quite a bit on here on the show. Shout out to Casey in the chat. She says Rob trying to say Sophie was at the manager's crib. The unknown reasons. Good to see you back in the chat, Casey. I think Washington is the much better defensive team. They've been able to hold everybody down. I mean, the Liberty, yes, they lost by 20 something. They still only gave up 85. Like, I feel like they were in that game. The score, like, they were in that game until a certain point, like from what I was watching. And outside of that, they've just been able to hold everybody down. I mean, the Aces, 75 points. Fever, 77. I mean, I get the Caden Clark thing, but they've held everybody down is kind of what I'm getting at. As long as, outside of the first game, they didn't have Shakira Austin. The second game, it was her first game. She only played like 7 minutes. Like, when she's in the lineup, that tightens up the rim protection and defense for the Mystics. The Fever first half team total is 5-1 to the under. They've been slow starters out the gate. And I get that when you've lost 3 in a row, you want to right the ship. They're going to come to play in this game, and they've had 3 days off. But so have the Mystics here, Rob, and Mystics are coming off of an ass whooping too. I mean, until they tell me I can't say it, I'm gonna say it. They coming off of an ass whooping too, So I think Mystics come to play. I mean, I heard in a post game interview, just talking about a lot of defense, transition defense, et cetera, and I know they're looking forward to playing, the Liberty again. But when you get, blown out like that, you want to respond. That's even what Brittany Sykes was talking about. So I think the Mystics bring it on the defensive end. I bet Fever first half team total under 42.5. Anything else you'd like to add here, Vino?
Yeah, I'm listening to you, and it sounds like maybe we're just on opposite sides of the coin here. It sounds to me like you're much more in favor of Mystics plus points here. Like they have the opportunity to win this thing even outright. And I wouldn't disagree with the Mystics. Like I say, offensively, it should be a bounce back game for them after playing Liberty defense. And they got 83 last week against this same team. So I think they can get even more. I think Indiana, if they got 77 the first time, they could do so at home here. So I think I'm arguing more full game total. And I could be wrong. It just sounds like you're in the stance where you like Mystics plus 6, which I can't really argue. I'm not on the side either way.
Yeah, I didn't bet the side though. Shout out to UCapper in the chat. So we're gonna do a little tiny head to head. Maybe the first half can be lower scoring, and you can have a good second half. How about that?
We'll take it.
UCapper, maybe you can be a tiebreaker. How do you view this game going? Shout out to my guy right there. Over or under type game. We're curious. Next game up, we are gonna go and get back to the odds screen. Phoenix, Minnesota opened up Lynx minus 10.5. I see 12.5 pretty much everywhere. Total also heading up from 156.5, looking at as high as 159. And take a glance at the injury report. So for Phoenix, same usual. I mean, Khalid Copper, Natasha Mack, Alyssa Thomas out once again. Kalani Brown is game time decision too for this Phoenix team, and just Aubrey Griffin out for the Lynx. these teams did play recently, and I think the Mercury were winning pretty much the entire game. Lafisi Collier didn't play. AT didn't play, and I think the Lynx won on like a game winner, if I'm not mistaken. So I do know, obviously Nafisa Collier is a big difference maker on offense and defense, but a big enough difference maker to win by 13 plus points. I mean, the Lynx haven't been winning by this big of a margin really all year long. I mean, the first two games, but outside of that, I want to say the rest of the games after they haven't been. Um, One thing I'll say is Kalani Brown is important. Seeing her on the injury report isn't something you like. If you like Phoenix, they do need, that size and rebounding, and she can score for them down there too. And that's really where Phoenix ate. They ate in the paint in that last game versus Minnesota. I think they have 44 points in the paint. So I would like to see Kalani Brown in. Um, I think Satu can really do whatever she wants. I'm a big fan of her, and I just, I saw her do it to them again in the last game. I think she can do it again this time. And I just feel like, and I'm curious your thought on this, when teams are undefeated, like the Lynx are right now, like you have to pay a premium to back them. And I just think 12 and a half is too much. Like if Kalani Brown is in, I love it. She's out. I still think they can keep it close. What do you think about that thought process?
Well, I'll say this. It seems to me that the absence of Alyssa Thomas was already like built into the spread when they opened this game. And then, they bet it up even further. So to your point about paying an extra tax on Minnesota, I think you are. And it may be, a fade of Phoenix, but it's still an extra bucket that's been tacked on here. And who knows if they continue to bet it up. I'd also agree that Minnesota's had a lot of close calls in these victories, right? That game against Phoenix, they could have easily lost. It was tight all the way. The Golden State game was tight for a long time until maybe mid-third. Minnesota just busted loose and wound up pushing the total, win by 11 against Golden State. So I'll say where Satu Sabali is concerned, boy, it's asking an awful lot of her to continue to do what she's doing without Alyssa Thomas by her side. It's a great duo, but when one is asked to do everything, it's difficult. She had a good game her last game. You got to take that on the road now to Minnesota. She could probably do her part, but Phoenix is just not. When I check them out statistically, they're middle of the pack in just about everything offensively. Not an especially fast team, not an especially good shooting team. Don't do anything real well, just do everything pretty average, which has been good so far because I think they were undervalued in the point spread most of the time because they put together a brand new team. Here, it just looks like too much to me. I'm afraid to bet against the Minnesota explosion where they get to, 85 plus and maybe do cover this because their defense, honestly, I don't think anybody's hit 80 against them in the last 5 or 6. I don't have it in front of me. I did before. So Phoenix going to have to at least get to, they're going to have to get to at least 70. I'm going to say 73 to cover this number. Otherwise, they won't. I don't like it either way, Skee. Don't want to lay it. Don't want to take it. Boy, I'm going to get in trouble with Casey. I'm just thinking back to what I just said. I'm off of this game.
We got a prop coming in here. Courtney Williams over 5.5 assists. Yeah, she might not be in here anymore because she would have definitely hopped on.
Yeah, she'd have been all over
there. Oh, man. All right, some good stuff on that game. And on the last game, Cabane said he agreed more with you. So we'll see how that one shakes out. All right, last game on the slate for today: Wings and Storm. Oh, there she goes. She said he ain't getting it by
her. I'm telling you. It's bad when you have to start thinking about. It can't just come out free flow anymore. I have to be very careful.
All right, Storm opened up minus 8.5. They're 10.5 now. Total all the way up from 162.5. High as 166.5. As far as who's available, I don't see anybody on the injury report for the Storm. For the Wings, though, Paige Beckers and Ty Harris both out. 2 point guards. Um, Vino, I think you know what's coming right here. Like, ain't no way in hell I'm putting my money on Enrique to get me there. You missing the 2 point guards, and now it's her to get everybody the ball and play making. You know, all she want to do is jack it up and shoot. And right now, she don't even want to be in Dallas anymore. She's unhappy. Um, the coach talking about the vibes are off. The teammates got to, just get back to being close and like each other type stuff. Like, I don't want to hear that if I'm wanting to back Dallas. They have
Right.
Dejanay Carrington trying to run point guard a little bit. The coach calling it clunky. I don't like anything out of Dallas. I'll say that. Does it mean they absolutely can't cover this game? No. It just means that the they look bad. It's not a whole lot to like. That's all I'll say from that direction. From the Storm, they won 3 in a row and they lost 3 in a row. I think when you do that, and you see Dallas on the other side, it's a perfect opportunity to get right because their defense is just so soft. So a Storm team that's not the best offensively should be able to score still. And we know when they're locked in, their defense can hold teams down. In a game like this, where Commissioner Cup point margin matters, I think the Storm just blow them out. Honestly, I'm not mad if you want to get in first half, get in and get out, but no way you couldn't. I wouldn't bet the Wings with your money, Vino. So hopefully you don't. You're not on that side. I don't think you would be. If anything, I think you're on the over.
Yeah, I mean, to steal from you doing this show long enough, if you know, you know, when I come on here and talk about Dallas, it's going to be some form of over the total. And I think in this case, Skee, I totally agree with you because I bet the Seattle team total over. It's 88.5. It's high for a reason. Dallas doesn't stop anybody. Seattle scored 56 on this team in the first half in Dallas in their first meeting. It was like 2 or 3 games into the season. And at that point, we had seen 2 games of the Seattle offense and thought, man, this just isn't a team that can go find buckets anywhere, especially off the dribble. But they come up with 56 in that game. They've also scored 58.5 this year. So they can shoot the basketball. Alicia Clark is back. I think they found through the first 6 games, Skee, more scoring options here. And there's definitely a lot of weakness in that Dallas defense. Dallas, just to go through it real quick, 7 games they played, 89 points per game allowed. They're the third worst defensive rated team. Seattle is number 3 in fast break points scored. We know Dallas wants to go fast, and they will turn it over. If you go over the field goal attempts from that last game. Remember 2 games ago, Skee, we talked about the quote coming from Enrique. Yeah, all right, 4 games in the system. All right, time to run the Enrique system. And she threw up 25 shots. And then last game, all of a sudden, I guess the teammates saw her shoot it 25 times and decided we're going to get ours too, because she had 16 and there were like 3 others with 10 or more. Just like when we get the ball, we're going to try for our own. So you could be right about, or the coach could definitely be right about clunky. To me, Seattle at home, they've already scored 102 and 87 in 2 of their 4 games at home. It's just the perfect defense to do it against. I mean, Chicago just got 97 and 94 against the Wings in their last 2 games. So for me, I think that was the best form of over to play here, which is Seattle team total over 88.5. I really think they can get 90 plus in this one. They had, like I said, they had 56 at halftime last time they met, and then only wound up with 79 because they just shot horribly in the second half. If they make a couple extra shots, I'll give you a number. They had a chance for 174 potential points in that game, 110 on 2s, 45 on 3s, and 19 free throws. If they get that many opportunities again, they're going to go over 88.5 tonight.
Yeah, to the same, point of what you said about the Sky that scored 94. I mean, they lost by double digits to the Sky. Just think about how bad the Sky have been this year, and they lost by double digits. I mean, -9 in my pocket. That's all I'm saying. People in the chat liking first half, and I'm not mad at it. I'll tell you the reason I didn't double up and take first half too is just because I thought that I don't think this is a game where they take their foot off the gas. Like the Commissioner Cup with the point differential, that just hangs in my mind. Like I've seen teams run it up and continue to run it up because just how much it matters. So I understand. I think they can be up by, they can be up by 10 at halftime. Everybody who likes them early, I won't talk you off, but I played the full game at the 9. Maybe now at 10.5, you could look at the first half at 6. Vino, you Capper says he took Sky both times. Yeah, man. Fade them bums over there in Dallas. Well, that bum. I'm not gonna call them all bums. And you know what? Before I ended and moved to best bets, I'm gonna do a little bit more bashing. A little bit more. If you watch the Chappelle show, hey. You know, I've seen all of the players do the same thing. Like, and I'm gonna say ahead of time, free Paige because she's probably next if Enrique sticks around. But Marina Mabry was over there. She couldn't wait to get away and get traded. She was so happy when she finally went somewhere else. It's just she hadn't been able to be on a good team, but still she was happy to just be away from that. Sabali, she gets traded from Dallas. She was in her recent post game interview. She was saying, I'm just so happy to be playing where I'm at right now. I'm just so happy. Like nobody wants to play that style of basketball. Just watching you jack it up every time. So uh, yeah, that's my moment to how do you say? I guess I want to say vent, but maybe just whatever you want to call it on Enrique Westbrook, as I'll call her for the Dallas Wings. All right. Yeah, Casey knows. She says Enrique getting the Westbrook treatment for real. Hey. All right, it's time for best bets. But before we do, we always do a little bit of promo around here. If they're mad at me before, they'll be happy now. $5 Tuesday. It's where all of the cappers have a chance to put a play up for $5. If you want to check somebody out, see what the write up is like. Just see, kind of get a feel for people. You can maybe pick up a couple, and then just see how you think they are or what you feel about them. And after that, there's this promo going on. If you did like somebody, you can use promo code GameOn77. You get 7 days for just $77, so $11 a day from whichever is your favorite WagerTalk handicapper. So keep that in mind, you guys. Now, we will get on over to best bets, and I'll ask you, um, if there's anything I missed, if there's anything else you would like to promote, and if you have a best bet for the show, feel free to share. If you do not, it's all good.
We'll go straight to best bet, Skee. I will just say that listening to what you said about players wanting to get out of Dallas as fast as they can, it is interesting because Enrique and Marina Mabry were teammates on Notre Dame. I wonder if she couldn't stand Enrique at Notre Dame. That was a good team back then. But obviously, as professionals, let's get out of there. And now Mabry wants to get out of Connecticut, so we'll see what happens there. I'm going to go back to what we just talked about. Best bet here for the show. I bet it. I got 88.5. I think that's still the number. Seattle team total over. I described all the fundamental reasons that I like the game, Skee. I think you added to it the bonus, the kicker, which is Commissioner's Cup point differential counts. So you don't let off the gas pedal here. And Seattle hasn't let off the gas pedal at home when they've had the opportunity so far this season. Like I say, 102 and 87 already posted by them so far this year at home. So that's where I'm going here. Best bet, Seattle team total tonight over 88.5.
Good stuff for Mr. Vino. You know what? For my best bet, I'll pull it up on the screen. I don't think I did it earlier. If I did, then my bad for doing it again. But just to show you guys, I'm gonna go with that first game we talked about. And I took Fever first half team total under 42.5. You can see here 5-1 to the first half team total under on the year. 3-0 to the under when they're a home favorite. Mystics. My bad, right here. Mystics opponent first half team total 4-1 to the under, 2-0 as a road dog. I just really have belief in that Mystics defense, and they're going to play hard too. I know the Fever had time off to fix what they needed, but the Mystics had time off too to fix and work on and get ready with that defense. So that's what I like for my best bet for the show. We're rolling with what did I do there? We're rolling with Fever first half team total under 42.5. Yeah, shout out to my guy UCAP. He says, "Oh, that's a nice website. What's it called? Honey Baller." Shout out to my guy RC. Put that together. It's an easy place to check out all the stats you need to handicap the games. Just at a glance. It's color coded, so you can it doesn't take a lot of time to see what you need to see. and I use it every single day. So shout out to my guy UCapper for providing it. If you want to check it out, it's called themoneyballer.com. Veno and myself will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1:30 Eastern. Best of luck to everybody out there. We appreciate you all in the chat. If you like the show, it helps us out if you could hit the like button. If you want to know whenever shows are live here on WagerTalk, subscribe, and we will catch you guys tomorrow.